Italian school, but it's like this high school that is focusing on maths and science. I also enjoy doing sports like skiing or hiking during summer,
Mm.
and I also play the piano. And that's it. I usually talk in Ladin language in my family with my friends, even though my father is not from Fassa Valley.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I think you're already getting started on my second question there, which was
Oh,
what languages do you use on a typical day?
well,
Yeah.
uh, I usually talk in Ladin in my family, except for my dad and for the branch of my family that comes from my dad. But usually I talk in Ladin even with my friends, but not all of them because you know I have lots of friends from Fasta Valley, but not all of them. A great part of them comes from other parts of this region, so I just spoke in Italian, and that's it.
I also speak mainly Latin. Some days I only speak Latin, also at school with my classmates who aren't from here. They, for example, live in Val di Fiemme. I, we say, I try to to speak Latin also with them, and yes, we all at allora. In my family and with my friends, I almost speak only Latin because my family it's all from here. Also, the granddad of my granddad is born here, so I only speak Latin with my family, and I also have some friends that are not friends, are my classmates, and yes, I barely speak Latin because I love this language more than Italian. Italian one.
It's great. All right, so now getting like more questions about like the use of the language. So, do you think the use of Latin in your community is changing like versus a previous generation, or do you think it's staying the same?
Mm, good question. Mm,
Well, I think yeah, it changed a little bit because it was seen like not so good language. Let me explain because a long time ago, Ladin was seen like the language of the poor people who can't go to school, who where you can study German or Italian, like to learn literature or something like this. So this is the big change that Latin language has made for me, from my opinion, because now it is not seen like this. The language is spoken also by local authorities, and people who work. You can also learn it not just in school. There are also special courses outside that everyone can take. So it has become a language as it should be, not like something else which only the um, not so wealthy people used to speak. That's the real big difference, as my
yes,
opinion only.
yes. Like Jacopo said, for example, during the fascism period between the 20s and the 40s of the last century, Latin was persecuted and prohibited to speak in public. Also here, because the Italian leader prohibited that because he wanted united Italy.
Mhm.
Yes, just a historical thing.
Yeah, if I can add something, I must say that like the name of the towns in Fassa Valley before the fascist era were just in Latin. There were not a translation in Italian. Now, if we have a translation in Italian of Latin names of the towns and localities, but also last names of some people, is just thanks to no, not thanks, but is caused by fascism. And still today, you have the consequences of this not so good period, and that's it.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I didn't know that there was a lot of like fascist interference in the language, so that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, but not just in Latin languages. Like all the Italian dialects were like exterminated by this old government. And I must say that Latin languages is now survived just because Fassa Valley was far away from the center of Italy. I mean, now there are a lot of tourists. You can live a good life, but by then was just this dislocated valley on the mountains that everyone forgot about it. So that's maybe a problem today, but it was uh, the lack of the time. So this didn't happen as Mussolini wanted.
Okay. Um,
Difficult.
so now maybe like a bit more about kind of what you guys do in school. So could you just like explain a little bit about the dual language programs at your school?
Well, so I tried to inform myself a little bit about it, and I just realized that I did it well. It is not so studied the language at school. Let me explain it. Because the problem is that there are not only people from Fassa Valley who came to study in this valley, or people who live here who just speak Ladin. So you can't force someone to learn it. No, you know. So all these language disciplines are not you don't have to do it
Mm,
just if you want it. Just maybe in the elementary school you learn, I think, history and science in Ladin for much that you can, because I mean it's a great language, Ladin, but as you try to be formal or go deep in the specific of an area like science, you don't have this really good vocabulary to explain everything. So it is also this problem that you don't have this great extension of your vocabulary. Just in some specific situation, you have really good vocabulary. Like if you go in the forest, all the plants you found in Fassa Valley and all the animals are named after Ladin Ladin people, uh, the past centuries. But today, like, there is no word for television, for smartphone, because I mean the language is pretty old, and these things were not as the language was built.
hmm.
I don't
Yes.
know if you got it. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, so what classes do you take in Latin specifically?
Well,
Honestly, we only have in my school. I have two Latin lessons a week, and we don't have the clear, like Jacopo said. In the elementary school, we studied history in Latin, and science. No, I studied science in German. Yes, mainly history and some other subject that now I don't remember. And yes, in our lessons now we we study mainly the grammar, but also our culture, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay. Um, and do you think both the Latin and Italian programs get the same resources and funding? I know there's probably not as many textbooks in Latin, but in terms of funding, do you think the government is good with that or the school system?
Mm.
well,
Okay, if
I
you don't
actually
know.
don't know. Well, I'm not a school teacher, but I think they are well paid both. I mean, if this was the question, like, yeah, there are a lot of resources. I don't know the pronunciation.
No,
Uh, Sorry for my English.
no, it's great. It's great. Don't worry.
There's also like a library or a museum for Ladin that we sometimes should use at school, but there are other resources, I think. I don't know, Nicholas, if you have the same.
Yes, I know that in our schools, in the Ladin schools that we have in Fassa Valley, there is a specific office called Olfed,
Mhm.
who is an acronymus in Ladin, and yeah, they produce Latin books, the manuals that we use in at the with the subject. So we
Yeah,
have also
the
our own
textbooks.
books, textbooks. Yes,
Okay.
those ones.
Yeah. Um, okay. Um, yeah, so I guess my next question is a bit about your guys' relationship with the language. So, I mean, of course, I think I see you have the flag, but you guys would say that speaking Latin is a very big part of your identity.
Mm, yes, I think honestly, if I could say, and I don't care, I don't give, I don't nothing. I think that my culture is unique, and honestly, I don't feel Italian, not at all. When for example, yesterday we had a ceremony here in Vigo with a Ladin skier from Vigo who did the Paralympics in here now in March. And yes, we had this ceremony, and I think that I didn't like was that they played the Italian anthem and they also raised the flag. Honestly, I turned myself on the other side. I don't feel Latin. I don't feel Italian at all. I only feel Latin. Yes.
Well, I must confess that I'm a little bit not that radical. I mean, yeah, Latin language is part of my life, of course, and I also identify as Latin. But if I go outside of my country, outside of Italy, and someone say, "Oh, you are from Italy, you are Italian," I usually don't correct them. Well, also feel not as big as Ladin culture, but Italian culture in general is like a little bit part of me. That's actually a tricky question, and I won't spend that much time on it because like there is no fully Italian culture. Every region has its own culture in Italy. It's very different. In fact, I don't identify myself as a South Italian,
Yeah.
not at all. But
Yes.
as a nation in general, a little bit, yes, not just Fassa Valley and Ladin. That's it.
Yeah. Where do you think most people would be um more in line with Nicholas or you, Jacopo? like in terms of how they view their identity, or is it kind of different for each person?
Well, I think that now people like Nicholas are vanishing from Fassa Valley. In fact, I think that even more and more people are becoming less and less Ladin in seeing it as a
Mm.
cultural point of view. I don't know, Nicholas, if you think the same.
Yes, we have this problem that less and less people feel don't feel Latin anymore. Also, if they are from here. So yes, like Jacopo said, people who thinks like me almost vanished. So yes, we have this problem.
Yeah,
But this we will fix somehow. We should
and
fix.
I have to add this opinion because, like, if you Latin, you learn it in your family. In a school, you simply don't do it or do it, but you will struggle a lot because, like, having just 2 hours per week is not that much to learn a fully language. So, like, if you have your dad from outside the valley who just can speak Italian, and your mother who can speak both Italian and Latin, they both will speak you in Italian because I don't think that your dad will like learn a new language just for speaking a culture that he doesn't recognize at his personal culture. That's the problem, the root of the problem, I think.
Mhm. So you think a lot of the problem comes from, I guess, new people being introduced to the valley, not so much Latin people kind of leaving or choosing to speak Italian.
No, I'm not against the like migration in the valley. It's not that's the problem. The problem is that mm, without realizing it, many people are not supporting a culture that really, really slowly is just vanishing in the big culture pot that is forming.
Mm.
That's the point. I'm not against if someone wants to live in Fassa Valley and comes here legally. I'm not against it. But just not to talk about politics. I mean, it's just that is if your son is identified comes from a Latin family, you should like at least try to make him learn the language and study the culture.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Um, yeah, you kind of already answered my next question. So
Sorry,
no, no, no,
I
no,
did.
that's great. So do you all speak Latin all the time with your friends? Do a lot of young people use Latin as their primary language, or if you have some friends outside of the valley, you'll switch to Italian most of the time?
Yes, like I said before, I really like to speak Latin, and also with my classmates from outside the valley, I try to speak them Latin because I think that for me it's very difficult to speak naturally Italian. I
Mm,
don't know if you got it because yes, I if I'm forced, if I don't have any possibility to speak Latin, I can perfectly speak Italian. But if I could choose, I would always choose Latin.
Yeah,
It's my
for
friend.
me the same. I totally agree. Only I would just like to add one thing. Like I don't know if it's just my sensation, but when you think in one language,
mm,
and my language of thinking is not Italian, is Latin.
Mine's too.
I don't know if it's just my thoughts or you agree.
Yeah, that's cool. And you think it's the same for most Latin young people? They're more inclined to speak Latin with their friends.
Mm. Unfortunately, I think that a lot of people think, or a lot of young people also that come to with us at school to school, they yes they think in Italian between them.
Hmm.
Yes, with between them they speak Italian. Also, if they both know Latin, and yes, we could say that the people who think in Latin are a minority in our valley. It's like
Yeah,
strange.
Interesting. You find it the same, Jacopo?
yeah, I totally agree. Just like only few exceptions where the towns are really small, the Latin speakers are the majority. And yeah, in public, when you speak to someone you didn't know, you just approach him in Italian, even though you know that he comes from a Latin family and lives and sorry, and have lived in Fassa Valley for a long period of time.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, I mean, do you ever feel that people maybe look at you differently for speaking Latin, or is it just choice, you know?
Mm.
Well, yes, but like for example, when I'm on vacation with my parents and I talk with my mom in Ladin, everyone turn and look at us as like, "Hey, I thought you were Italians, aren't you?" And I all every time have to explain that yes, I'm Italian, but not that much.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yes, for me
yeah,
it's the same.
when I go outside Fassa Valley, that's a little bit the the thoughts that are in my mind.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, so this is kind of a little bit different, but do you ever use Latin online? Do you text in Latin? Is there like a keyboard option for it? Or
Yes, for example, on my phone, I have a lot of keyboards in many language. For example, at school, I also learn Russian, so I have the the keyboard on the phone with the Russian alphabet. I have it also for German, for Italian, of course, and of Latin. But it's not our what type of Latin. It's I think it's more like in Valbadia.
mm,
So yes. And also, if the algorithm corrects me, I try always to write correctly in Latin with most of my contacts, with my chats.
mm,
Yeah, it's
Yes.
so annoying when you chat with someone, seeing that the your device is correcting your writing, thinking that you are writing something wrong. It's
mm.
so annoying all the time.
Okay. And do you think in terms of like websites, is there like a big online presence in Latin
Yeah,
or yeah?
yeah, yeah. There are. If you search on your PC, you will find everything about culture because like the textbooks that we use at school, some of them you will find also offline,
Mm,
online. Sorry, and also there is the dictionary, the translator online. So if you put a word in Italian, if the translation exists, you will find is correct um, the word in Latin.
okay. That's
Mhm.
cool. Yeah. Um, uh, so now I have more of a question about where you see the future of the language. This is maybe a difficult question, but what do you see as the biggest threat to Latin right now?
Mm, I think that I also asked my father before at dinner, and he thinks that the main threat of Ladin it's the fact that a lot of people came to live here. So obviously, I'm not talking about illegal migration because we don't have a big problem with there here. And I'm thinking about a lot of they are not a lot. I'm thinking about Italians and also people from foreign people who came to live here because they want to live in our villages between the mountains and not in a big city. And yes, but obviously they don't have our culture. And so a lot of people tend to speak with them, yes, of course, Italian. So also the people from here tend, when they are also with people who speak Italian too, not Latin too, they speak Italian. So yes, I think that's the main danger here.
Yeah, I kinda agree, but I think the root of the problem is the resources outside the valley. Because if you ask to someone who really likes to speak Latin, do you do you like to speak perfectly and fluently English or Latin? 90% of the time it will be English, because you will have more opportunities, because with Ladin you just stay in the valley. That's a big red flag for calling it in this way. And also that people are not knowing that the language is like in danger, because the speakers are not the so many, but we are a great number for a minority language. There are
Yes.
some other languages that struggle much more about it, so they just don't care of the language, and they just didn't want don't want to learn about it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, with what you said about English and opportunities outside the valley, do you see a lot of the younger generations leaving to find opportunities outside of the valley, and at the same time, like maybe non-Latin people move into the valley, so there's kind of like two things at the same time that are hurting the
Yeah.
language?
In fact,
Mhm.
in my classroom especially, there is this big class opinion that as you grow up, you will then have to move from Fassa Valley to study in a university. And they said, well, you go outside and then you stay outside the valley because it is better, you have greater opportunity. And that's true. I mean, that is true. But I will never leave the valley if the like it will remain like this.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, like uh, I don't know how to explain it really good, but uh, the thing that there are no opportunity in Fassa Valley is because many people leave the valley because they think they should have more opportunity outside, and that's another wrong thought from
Mhm.
my point of view.
Yes, if
Yeah.
I could add something, I think that a typical thing, also maybe a little stereotype of the Latin people is they are really really cosa si dice? They are really cosa
Boschieri,
dice? Nah, lì all'ingazzo.
uh,
Yeah.
radical.
Okay.
No,
Yes,
not
they would never leave, just like me. For example, I think that I will never leave the valley for more than a month. I could live not, for example, a
yeah.
season. far away from here.
Mm.
I will have to study in a university, but I think that every weekend I have to be in Fassa Valley. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's good that you guys feel that way, but I think what do you see as like the solution to all the other people leaving and even maybe educating the people that move into the valley?
Well, it's just I think a question of educating, because the only thing that we need is to spread the voice, not only in Fassa Valley, but to all of the people who would like to come in, especially for tourists that generally don't care about these local problems, and also to like to teach the people that for in this specific moment there is not this big problem of the culture disappearing, but if we do nothing about it, there will be it's just uh, a big problem about education, but not for the Ladin people itself, from for all of the people coming in, from the people who live here, just spreading the voice, not um, make make them learn about it, because probably they would already know it mm, a little bit.
Mhm.
like, am I explained well? I don't know.
No, yeah, I think Nicholas, do you have anything to add?
Good question. No, I almost think what Jacopo just said. So yes, I totally agree with his view. So yes.
Okay. So, do you guys have a positive outlook for the language in like say 50 years? Do you think it will grow or where do you see it, do you think?
Mm,
Well, I think that the situation of our language will remain almost the same. So some people come here, some go away, but yes, I think we have a lot of institutions that are made from for preserve our culture and our language. So I think that also if we have immigration problems, they will be also covered by the local institutions.
Mhm.
yeah. In fact, after they build the library and the museum, we will have this mm, safe point. I mean that the language will not tragically disappear from a day to another. It should take many years of people don't caring and forgetting small vocabulary, and don't talk with the other.
Mhm.
So I mean, completely disappearing, no, but I think that it will be changed a lot, and mix the Latin language to other language Italian, but also English, and that's already happening from my point of view.
For example, for doing an example, before it was said, I think that here also in the 17th, there has been the touristic boom. So a lot of tourists came here, and all the aspetta. Yes, we earned a lot of money on Kurt, and yes, now for example, when the United States were on the moon, we still were all farmers. we only were farmers in the 16th and the 17th. Then there has been a lot of tourists coming in Fassa Valley, so we improve our economy.
Mhm.
Yes. And yes, and but leaving the the fact not the factory, the farming life, also we lost a lot of vocabularies about the tools used in the fields. Yes, so we lost also a lot of vocabularies. Yes, Kurt.
Yeah, yeah. It's it's interesting. So, okay. Um, uh, um, so for this next question, it's a little different. It's is there anything about Latin, like either the language or the culture, that you think is particularly different for outsiders to understand?
Well, it is, from my point of view, difficult for the outsiders to realize that it is a language and not a little change of the Italian language.
Hmm.
Because in the whole Italy, everyone has should have its own dialect. Do you know what I'm referring to? And
Yeah.
that's common. But it's not like this. It's completely another language and another culture. And after you realize it, you will then think in about you will then start to think in another way, to treat the culture and the language in a completely different way. I mean, many people also from the valley don't look at the opportunities of the language, even though they are not that many from my point of view. But
Mhm.
and also like seeing it as something for all people, for the radical ones, for the ones who just want to stay here and live here because their father told him to do that. That's it. It's hard to understand the power of language. In That's it.
Nicholas, you have anything?
Hmm. Mm. Yes, I wanted to say something, but now I don't remember what I wanted to say. Um, mm. Yes, that Jacopo just explained why the state, the Italian nation, recognized our language as a minority language, and that's the big difference between our own language and the other Italian dialects and different accents.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Um, so, and I mean, I think was part of that repression from the fascists was just not even acknowledging Latin as a separate language, just a dialect, and trying to, I guess, move people towards like speaking only Italian was part of that repression as well.
Mm, Maybe I don't know if I got the question right, but like fascism just wanted to eliminate different all the different language from Italian, also the like not so Italian words, like if I wanted to go to the cinema, also in Italian, cinema is the same as English.
Hmm.
But for fascism, no. They just invented a new vocabulary for cinema and eliminate the cinemas one. Also, if your last name was uh, was not sounding like an Italian last name, they will bring you to the town hall and change it on your not on your AD, on your passport. That was it. In fact, we have a whole collection of vocabulary made up just to mm, to make the Italian language more and more Italian, but actually it never happens. Just like people were not used or happy to use these unusual ways. Like if I have my car is a Jeep and they call it a Jeep both in Italian and Latin because this word is also smartphone remains the same in Italian. But if someone fascist see this, will definitely not call them smartphone or something like this. Also, like Louis Armstrong, for example, became Luigi Bracioforte in Italian. That really means Luigi, which is the Italian version of Louis, with a strong arm. And that's awful. That sound awful.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was a great repression that I don't know if everyone knows it, and it's makes me laugh. I mean, laugh from what is possible just by thinking about it because what is the goal of doing it?
Hmm. Yeah. Um,
If I answer the question.
yeah, yeah. That was good. Uh, so I mean, for other languages around the world that I guess are being actively repressed right now by their governments, is there anything you guys would say, any advice? I know this was before your time, but like, is there anything you would say to those people? Inspiration, anything?
Hmm.
Hmm, good question. Well, mm, mm, I would say to that they should keep speaking between them their own language, also if it's a dialect or a minority language. It doesn't matter because in Europe, I don't know if in America it's the same. We have a mosaic of different cultures that are
Mixing.
yeah, they are all mixed, but they are all different. So they have to stay different. And yes, yes, this.
Hmm.
Yeah, if I have to give an advice to these oppressed people, I would like to say, like, uh, speak the language you are forced to speak, but the, still keep your culture and your language apart because as the oppressor hopefully falls off, your culture will rise again, and that's what happened after fascism. That's my thought. Like I just see what has historically happened.
Yeah,
Or like
yeah.
in India, after the colonization of the British, English remained a really important language, but the Indian language rose again after the colonization.
Mm,
Yes.
yeah. All right.
And of course, fight for your culture and like
For your freedom.
yeah, for like threw away the oppressor from the throne,
Mhm.
like metaphorically.
Um, I mean, I think that's like most of the questions I have written down, but is there anything you would like, I mean, even like American people, any people of the world to know about Latin? Anything else you guys would like to add? No.
Hmm. Let us live in peace. Yes, we to let us keep our culture and yes, this.
Yes, not just our culture, just to be respectful to the people you visit or you go to live in, and get informed, learn as much as you can about the other people and other cultures. That's it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for doing this. This was
You're
really
welcome.
interesting. I'm
No
learning a
problem.
lot. So,
No problem. You're
yeah.
welcome.
And I mean, we'll probably edit it a bit. I mean, we can like send you, but we might want to post this
Mhm.
on like our YouTube channel, make some like
Oh,
Instagram reels with this. Is that like cool with you guys? Put it on the website.
yeah, for me it's fine.
All right. Great.
It would be cool.
Yeah. I'll make sure to tag you guys. So,
No,
Thank
no,
you.
please don't tag me, because then memes pop up for my friends.
uh, okay, okay. Well, yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your evenings. But yeah, I really appreciate this, and I'll send you what we have.
Okay.
Yes, fine.
All right. Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
See you
Thanks.
soon.